Hi, welcome back to the Gapster channel. This is a different video than what you might expect. I'm going to talk today about making those delicious Middle Eastern sweets. They're called mamoul. I make those videos usually for my kids and family and friends and whoever wants to know about these recipes, because there's always people ask me, how do you do this, how do you do that? So these are actually little pastries filled with pistachios and walnuts. They're made with semolina and almond flour. They're pretty healthy reasonably. They're low in sugar. So let's make those and let's see how we can get them done. So we start with 1.5 cup of semolina and 1/4 cup of flour, half a cup of almond flour, half a tablespoon of maple syrup. If you don't have maple syrup, you can use sugar or any syrup. 1/8 of a spoon of nutmeg, half a teaspoon of cinnamon, half a teaspoon of dry yeast, just sprinkle it around, 150 grams of melted butter, and 1/4 cup of warm milk. Add half a teaspoon of vanilla. Stir the dry part really well. And then what you want to do is basically add all the milk and the butter to your mixture. And you just want to really give it a really good mix from here on. Now, if you find your mixture a little bit too wet, you could add a little bit more semolina. And if it's a little too dry, you can add a little bit more butter or more milk. And just mix it a little bit more. It should be like a little dryish, it shouldn't be too wet. And then you're gonna let this rest for about half an hour to an hour. And while we're waiting for the pastry part to rest, we're going to mix the nuts. You could have either pistachios, walnuts, or dates. This one is going to be 2/3 pistachios and 1/3 nuts. So we're going to use 1 cup of pistachios. We're going to put those in a food processor, and we're going to use half a cup of walnuts. And we are going to basically cut them into smaller pieces. And you don't want to run this too long, just about 10 seconds. So you want them to be, some parts should be fine, some parts should be a little bit like 1/4 pieces. Now what you want to do is you just want to empty and just put those aside. Now we're going to do another batch of pistachios. This time we're going to use only half a cup of pistachios. And these ones we're going to really process for a long time. We're going to process them for a really good minute. We want them super fine. And now that looks a little bit more like it, much finer. Now with the first batch of the nuts, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of maple syrup. And we're going to add that to the nuts. And we're going to toss this around a little bit. That should give you a little more moisture nut mixture. If you want them a tiny bit sweeter, you could add actual sugar if you like. This is just a half a teaspoon. This is a very low sugar recipe, so as you'll notice, we're not really using much sugar in here. Most of it's just a bit of maple syrup here and there. The finer pistachio mixture you're going to put in a bowl, like a slightly of a deep bowl, and we're going to be using this to dip the mamoul at the end to give them that final beautiful pistachio coverings. In a separate bowl, just add 1/4 cup of icing sugar. Here you can see the mixture what we used to put the filling inside the mamouls. And we have here the icing sugar, and this is a fine pistachio mixture that we're going to use to garnish them at the end. So the first thing, we're going to start putting everything together here. So I'm just going to bring a mold. This is a mold you can get off, basically I'll put a link where you can get one of those. They come in different quality, but this is a good one, but I'll try to find you a link. I'll put it in the description below. So this is the mold. It's got a little intricate part in the middle. It's got a nice handle. So the first thing I'm going to do with that is actually put some butter on it. So I've got some melted butter here. And we're just gonna put a generous amount of butter inside, just so it's actually, you don't want the dough to stick to it. So this is what it looks like after adding a bit of butter inside. So what you want to do is you want to grab a little bit of dough, about like this much, like a little handful, and you're just going to work it a little bit, just feel it, so it needs to be smooth. So just keep working it out. What you want to do is just flatten it like a pancake first, and just keep working it. Now another way to do it, if you find it's falling too much apart, so it can be like that a little bit, so you can put it in the mold if you like, and just press a little bit on the edges. That's one way to do it. Some people hold it in their hand and just do it all in their hand. This is a little bit easier to start with. And you want to put in some mixture of the nuts in there. Be a bit of generous amount, just so it's almost full. Just leave a little bit of room so you can close it. And now you can close it like that. So once you have it in the mold, we do this with the kids. Before we bang it, we yell, "Mamoul!" We go like that, and it just comes out just like that. And this is what it looks like. It's got a nice little texture on top. So here you can see it's you gotta work it out. Mamoul!
It's more fun when you have help.
Definitely.
Shout out to Cousin Mary. We love our aprons.
Thank you, Mary, for these beautiful aprons.
Mamoul!
Ooh, look at that. Nice.
Mamoul! Such satisfaction.
And here we are starting to have a few mamouls ready. Second, and we're gonna put them in the oven. The oven is set at 350 Fahrenheit. And 25 minutes later, we're gonna take them out of the oven. All right, so here they are out of the oven. So what you want to do is you want to get a little bit of melted butter, and with a little brush, just brush some a little bit. You can brush the top if you like. You can brush a little bit the bottom as well, not too much. And what you're going to do is you're going to dip some with, you're going to dip some in the icing sugar. And after that, we're going to dip some in the nuts, and this is how they'll basically look. And then we're going to put them here on the tray. Stop for a second. All right, again, same thing. A little bit of butter on top, and a little bit on the bottom. Dip it in the icing sugar. So the icing sugar, it's up to you how much you'd like. You can put lots, you can put hardly any. And this is a pistachio mixture, and goes in the tray as well. Here we go. If you like, you can just put very lightly sugar and icing sugar and lightly pistachios on top, then you can see a bit more of the shape of the mold.
Now for my favorite part.
These are really good. I hope you like this video. I'm gonna put in the corner here another one of my recipes and same on this side, and hopefully you'll experience some of my cookings and my wife's cooking. Maybe we can make you explore some different type of cuisines.